The man who once seemed untouchable, someone we all thought could do no wrong, lost everything in plain sight. He stood there, vulnerable and alone, as everything he'd built fell apart. And Chrissy? After all this, you'd barely recognize her? Imagine waking up to find out everything you thought about Jim Jones and Chrissy was a lie. That's exactly what Camron did. In one swift move, he walked into a courtroom and shattered their perfect image. The secrets he shared were so unbelievable that people could hardly believe Jim and Chrissy could get away with such deception. Suddenly, questions everyone had laughed off. Was Chrissy really the one pulling all the strings? And did Jim truly have no idea? Seemed far more serious. While that scandal was unfolding, another high-profile trial captured the public's attention. The case of rapper YNW Melly. Everyone wondered if he would be set free or face life behind bars. The most talked-about piece of evidence was a blurry video showing two figures in a car, possibly Melly and his friend Bortland. Because the footage was unclear, no one could say for sure who they were. As a result, the trial became harder to follow, and audiences became completely absorbed by every new detail. The prosecution insisted that, blurry or not, the video still placed Melly at a crucial scene. That worried his defense team, who argued the footage was too vague to prove anything. They claimed it was meant to confuse the jury rather than provide actual proof. Then things got even more intense. Rumors about a plea deal involving Bortland, Melly's longtime friend and co-defendant, had circulated for weeks. Finally, Bortland's lawyers confirmed he was negotiating with prosecutors for a reduced sentence in exchange for testifying against Melly. This news was a devastating blow to Melly's defense because Bortland had been his last hope. If Bortland flipped, the prosecution would have an insider whose knowledge of the events leading up to the murders was unmatched. The thought of a best friend betraying him for a lighter sentence sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Fans of the rapper were stunned, and the Free Melly movement began to lose steam as doubts about his innocence grew. But the story didn't stop there. A former member of Melly's inner circle came forward, claiming first-hand knowledge of Melly's involvement in the killings. Kept anonymous for safety, this whistleblower said they saw Melly dispose of evidence after the murders and overheard private confessions. Their testimony confirmed the worst suspicions of those convinced Melly was guilty. Melly's lawyers tried to dismiss the whistleblower as someone looking for attention or money, but with each new witness and piece of evidence, the case against Melly looked more troubling. Then came the final blow. A leaked recording of a private phone call between Melly and his attorney. In that tape, Melly sounded terrified of a life sentence and talked about pleading guilty to lesser charges. The recording suggested he knew he was guilty and just wanted a lighter punishment. Melly's defense claimed the tape was fake, but by then the damage was done. Public opinion swung further against him, and people started doubting every bit of his story. As the trial neared its end, supporters and skeptics remained divided. Some believed Melly was a victim of a biased system or part of a larger conspiracy. Others felt the evidence left no room for doubt. Finally, the jury began deliberations, and the world held its breath. Would Melly walk free or spend the rest of his life behind bars? No matter the result, his life had already been changed forever. Back to Jim and Chrissy. When Camron took the stand, he didn't just reveal shady money moves. He exposed an entire world built on lies, deception, and manipulation. He showed that Chrissy wasn't just supportive. She was secretly in control of Jim's career and finances. While Jim performed on stage and enjoyed fame, Chrissy managed every major decision. She set up hidden bank accounts overseas, created shell companies, and handled their secret wealth. Everything Jim did, from album deals to public appearances, was really Chrissy's decision first. Very few people knew about this arrangement. Jim believed Chrissy had his back, but in truth, she used his fame to further her own plans. Camron also shared how Chrissy crafted Jim's public image. Every interview, Every press release and every brand partnership was orchestrated by her to make them look like the ideal couple. But Camron didn't stop there. He talked about a supposed money laundering scheme that moved illegal funds through hidden accounts and shell companies. Some of that money wasn't used for Jim's music. It paid for luxuries that remained secret from everyone. From day one, Camron said, Chrissy had treated Jim like a pawn in her quest for wealth and influence. This was no simple love story. Gone wrong. It was a calculated plan to control Jim's life and future. When Camron's testimony hit the headlines, the reaction was explosive. Fans turned against Jim and Chrissy almost overnight, feeling betrayed by lies they thought were true. Jim's reputation, built over years of hard work, was now in ruins. Friends and colleagues distanced themselves, unsure whom to trust. Fans began to question everything Jim had ever said or done. Chrissy's downfall was equally rapid. As her role in Jim's life became clear, her popularity plummeted. People who once saw her as supportive and glamorous now saw her as manipulative and secretive. Longtime friends abandoned her, and social media was filled with criticism and jokes at her expense. The backlash was unrelenting, and it was only getting worse. Both the Melly trial and the Jim and Chrissy saga showed how a polished image can crumble when shocking truths emerge. These stories remind us how easy it is to be fooled by fame, and how quickly trust can disappear when secrets come to light. Whether these two cases end with freedom or jail time, one thing is clear. Once the truth is out, everything changes, and the fallout can last a very long time. The real fallout is only starting now. First, Jim Jones's reputation is in shambles. You know how quickly the internet moves. One small leak or one shocking revelation is enough to change everything. Before this, many people respected Jim in the hip-hop world. Now, he's become the subject of jokes and rumors. His career is built on loyalty and respect, so seeing longtime friends turn on him feels like a knife in the back. But it's not only a personal problem, it's professional, too. His music no longer charts the way it used to. Brands are pulling away, and his tour dates have been cut down. Tickets aren't selling, and his earnings have plummeted. It's no longer about having a few hit songs. It's about undoing the damage to his name. Scandals like this don't just fade away overnight. Chrissy Lake isn't faring any better. Standing by a man now seen as weak, manipulated, or even shady has backfired on her. In hip-hop circles, nobody wants to be linked to someone accused of fraud. Chrissy thought her role might stay hidden, but she's been dragged into the mess too, accused of being the one who really controlled things. She's now painted as the puppet master, using Jim for her own gain. Those years of perfect couple vibes, they suddenly look like a facade. According to insiders, fans are demanding answers from Chrissy about how she handled Jim's money and career. Online trolls have declared, "Chrissy exposed will never be forgotten." Tweets, memes, and comments remind everyone that she's no longer seen as just the devoted partner. Now she's labeled a con artist who used a loving relationship for profit. That label is sticking around. Meanwhile, real legal troubles loom. Court documents hinted investigations into possible financial fraud, money laundering, and shady business deals. Authorities are reportedly digging into hidden bank accounts, offshore holdings, and shell companies. If these allegations hold up, Jim and Chrissy could face serious charges, tax evasion, or even conspiracy. This isn't just talk. Investigators are already examining their transactions. Sources close to the couple say Chrissy is preparing to distance herself from Jim. When pressure mounts, the person in control often is the first to walk away. Chrissy built her own path off Jim's fame, but now that her network is breaking down, she might exit too. Behind the scenes, things are ugly. It's not just a breakup. It's a complete collapse of their joint business and personal lives. Their finances, ventures, and future are in jeopardy. So what's next for Jim and Chrissy? Their road ahead will be long and rough, and their mistakes won't be forgotten easily. The public is watching every move, waiting for the next surprise. The truth has already come out, and there's no covering it up. In the coming days, we'll see who can pick up the pieces and who ends up holding the bag. The drama is far from over. This scandal shows no signs of fading.